I started to feel like this broken record. And worst case, I honestly started to feel internally like a fraud. Let me tell you, the minute you break the promise to yourself, it gets way too easy to break it again and then again and then again. So I sat with that and I sat with that gut punch, that self awareness, and I started to ask myself, when did I begin to lose trust in myself? And when did I stop believing I was actually capable of doing hard things?
Hey there, and welcome to What If It All Goes Right, the podcast where we flip the script on obstacles and turn them into opportunities. I'm Angela Gargano, 6-time American Ninja Warrior, Miss Fitness America, keynote speaker, and someone who knows firsthand what it's like to face setbacks and wonder, is this for me? I've torn my ACL on national television, worked the 12-hour overnight shifts as a biochemist, and battled my own doubts about how to chase my goals while juggling life's chaos. But through it all, I've learned one powerful truth. It's not about avoiding challenges, it's about how you view them. The difference between success and staying stuck, it's all in your mindset and what you do next. This podcast is here to remind you that every single person you admire has faced obstacles. The real magic happens when you decide to see those hardships as stepping stones to something greater. Each week, we'll dive into powerful stories and practical tools and mindset shifts to help you take control of your life and ask the big question, what if it all goes right? You'll leave each episode empowered, inspired, and equipped with the actionable steps to create the life you've been dreaming of. Because the truth is, you're stronger than you think, and your obstacles are just opportunities in disguise. Let's rewrite your story together. Get ready to feel inspired, take action, and see what happens when you start asking, what if it all goes right?
Hey, friends, and welcome back to another episode of What If It All Goes Right, the podcast where we break through the fog, the fear, the stuckness, and show up anyway. I'm your host, Angela Gargano, and today's episode is honestly less of a lesson and more of a real-time story. And my story, the truth of where I'm at right now, because something happened this week and it totally shook me. I was overwhelmed, and not just like, oh my gosh, I have a lot to do today, overwhelmed, but the kind of heavy that sits in your chest, the kind that creeps in when you know deep down that you haven't been keeping the promises that you made to yourself. So let me back up for a second and tell you a bit about that. So the other day, I caught myself doing what I've done way too many times, which is thinking about everything that I want to do and then realizing that I hadn't actually done any of it. It's like, oh, that feeling, oh, like I haven't been doing anything. And then boom, this thought hit me. And I was like, Angela, you've been saying the same thing for like 2 years now. And I kept thinking, like, imagine the fact that my friends have been hearing you talk about these big dreams, these visions, these goals, and you're just like still not doing exactly what you say you were going to do with them. And still saying, this is the week. Like, this is the week that I'm going to break through and I'm going to do the thing. And then still the next week, you're breaking another promise to yourself again, really breaking it over and over again. And I started to feel like this broken record. And worst case, I honestly started to feel internally like a fraud. Like, let me tell you, the minute you break the promise to yourself, it gets way too easy to break it again and then again and then again. So I sat with that and I sat with that gut punch, that self awareness, and I started to ask myself, where did this start? When did I begin to lose trust in myself? And when did I stop believing I was actually capable of doing hard things? Like, when did I stop believing? Where did my confidence go? And most importantly, why is it that I can't seem to change right now? Because every single morning I wake up and say, Angela, this is going to be the day. This is the day that you're going to get unstuck. And the day goes on, and a lot of the same habits keep repeating. It's like that comfort zone of continuing to break the promise over and over. And that same anxious feeling continues to come crawling in. And by the end of the day, I feel still stuck. Like, my brain is literally wired for stuckness right now. Am I just going to be here forever? And yet in my mind, I keep seeing her. I keep seeing this future version of me, this female leader, this keynote speaker on massive stages, the confidence, the centered woman who show up for herself. She's powerful, she's focused, she's grounded. But right now I'm not her. And that's like so overwhelming. Not her yet. So I did what many of us do. I opened Instagram, I scrolled and I searched, and maybe thinking that somebody, some quote, something is going to save me. And I thought, maybe someone has the blueprint to this. Maybe the next reel has the breakthrough that I need. But then I went back to what we talked about in this podcast many times before. Like, nobody, not even the person on Instagram, not even the quote you have or the book you read, is going to come and do anything and save you. There are amazing people out there with incredible content, but no one is going to come and do it for me. No one is going to come do it for you. They might hand you the tools, but unless I pick them up and trust myself and start building, nothing is going to change. And that is the harsh truth that I had to sit with. And it lit something in me. So I decided enough, enough of being stuck in my own cycle. I need a shift. I need structure, because I feel like that's where I truly thrived before, was structure, right? I throve, is that a word? Throwed in structure when I was an athlete. Like, I knew that I was competing to hit a certain goal on a certain day to do a certain thing. And right now, since everything is so open-ended, it's easy to just continue to be like, oh, I'll just put that off. And then until all of a sudden you're realizing that the days are just flying by. So give me this kind of deadline, some kind of non-negotiable, and typically I'll do it. So I'm like, okay, it is time to do this. So I created myself a 30-day breakthrough challenge. Feel free to do this with me. And to be completely real with you right now, as I'm saying this, like, my heart is beating. I feel like I'm sweating, because when I say it here out loud to somebody, to all of you on here, all you listeners, that's going to make it real. And it's like, I have to follow through now once I say this. And it's interesting because I did the very similar thing when I was going through my ACL, right? I decided to document every single day, good and bad, and do a little something every day and post it on my story. And that small bit of accountability really helped. And the version of me right now, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm anxious. I'm not following through. This version of me is not going to live the life that the future me wants to live. So I created this challenge to help me become her, and realizing that I already am her. But this is to help build trust with myself again, to help keep the tiny promises daily to myself, and to stop letting fear be the loudest voice in the room. So here's what I'm doing for the next 30 days, in case you want to do it too. So I decided to choose 4 physical commitments, 4 mental commitments, and 4 work commitments, especially work commitments that I've been not wanting to do. And I wanted to create this as something that's going to be manageable, though. So I didn't want to create this and be like a 75 hard where it's very, very hard to stick to, but I did want to create it to be enough challenging, like enough like, oof. But I wanted to set myself up to win, right? Because that's what I need right now. We need those small little wins to create momentum, right? If you're just going to set yourself up to fail, it's not going to create the momentum that you want. So the 4 physical things that I'm doing, and feel free to pick your own, doesn't have to be this, is drink water first thing in the morning, no phone, just water. Have my shake for breakfast to fuel my body. 8K steps a day. Movement matters. The motion helps shift those emotions. And getting myself some daily movement. And it doesn't have to be intense. It doesn't have to be like an hour or 2 long workout, but just knowing that these few things physically for myself are really going to help. But I would love for you to pick 4 things that you would love to do for the next 30 days physically. Now, for mindset, I went with 3 gratitudes. So 3 things I'm super grateful for, because when we're in this moment of not feeling so great about what we have right now, it's important to reflect on what we do have and say how grateful we are. And then affirmations, recording myself saying them daily. So I create a list of 30 affirmations I'm recording and saying them out loud daily. It seems wild. It seems crazy. It seems like, what is this girl doing? But I swear, if you start to repeat these things out loud, I know how much that can shift things. And before, I was just kind of reading them, and I feel like reading them wasn't enough. I need to actually say them out loud. Reading 1 page a day, just one small shift to create big energy. And if that 1 page turns into me reading a full chapter, amazing. But again, setting myself up to win. And breath work. I feel like breath work really helps me get grounded. It helps me stay calm. It helps me reconnect. I did it last night, and I felt like it truly was incredible last night. And then 4 work commitments. So I'm going to be reaching out to at least 2 speaking outreach messages a day to get on more stages. I know that my impact and my purpose is larger. And in order to hit that impact, I'm going to need to speak on more stages. 3-minute Instagram daily lives. I want to do more with making sure that I'm showing that I can speak and the storytelling that I can provide. And in order to do that, I feel like doing it every single day for 30 days. I'm going to continue to grow, to continue to get better with it. And I'm going to be able to share that message. I mean, we have a phone in our pocket. Like, people didn't used to have the access to literally billions of people at their fingertips, right? So why not use it? Posting daily across the platforms, like no hiding anymore. I kept kind of putting off posting and going live in the Pull Up Revolution community to stay connected on there. I haven't been doing that as much. So why does this all matter? Because I want you to hear this. Sometimes we think we have to make these massive shifts to change our lives. The truth is, your life changes when you start keeping tiny promises to yourself. So if I can keep these tiny promises to myself, I know it's going to propel and it's going to allow other promises to be made for me as well. It starts with one breath at a time, one page, one message, one step. And sure, I'm scared. I'm definitely scared. I'm scared because this means committing. This means I have to commit to this now. It means that failure might happen. But what's the worst that can happen? Maybe everything changes by sticking to this for 30 days. There's nothing bad that can happen by actually committing and saying I'm going to do these things. And just maybe in 30 days, I feel more confident. I feel more clear. I feel more aligned. And maybe the door that I've been waiting to finally find finally opens. And honestly, even if it doesn't, at least I know I showed up for me, which is so important. I also took a moment to reflect and redo my vision board. Not fully redo it, but there's something in it that didn't feel fully aligned. So I went on and I aligned it to what I truly wanted, right? Because I feel like sometimes when I was creating the vision board, I wasn't really sure. Like, I was just creating it to create it. But there was something that felt really off about this one. I didn't really know what the other thing would be. So I redid it, reprinted it out. It's on its way. Could hang it on my wall, could look at it every single day. And this one feels right. It feels aligned, feels clear, it feels real. As I'm sitting here writing this and going through this podcast for the first time in a while, I feel hopeful. I feel like this time it's going to shift. This is going to be another shift for me. And I wanted to share this real, vulnerable, raw moment in here with you all, right? Because I always talk about my story about me tearing my ACL, but these things are going to constantly happen. You're going to constantly have these things where you're reevaluating. And it's not going to go perfectly, but it's about showing up consistently for me. I want you to show up consistently for you. So I want to share this episode with you in case you're in a similar space, in case you're also feeling a little stuck. Maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed, a little like, how the hell am I going to get out of this fog right now? And I want you to start with one thing. Or join me. Join me and let's do the 30-day breakthrough challenge. Pick a few non-negotiables, the 4 like I did. Make them small, make them relatable, doable, make them real. If you're watching the video on this, I have a little checklist because we don't need to be that person, that best version of ourselves tomorrow. We just need to start becoming her today. We need to trust that she's in fact coming and that we have to go through this first in order to get there. And maybe everything just goes right. Now, I know I shared a lot about what I'm personally doing right now in the next 30 days, but I want to take a second to talk about you. Whoever is listening right now, whether it's on your walk or in your car or hiding in the bathroom for 5 minutes for peace, let me ask you something. Maybe you're feeling stuck too, or you felt stuck before. Like, you know, there's this next level for you, but no matter what you do, you just cannot seem to access it. And maybe you keep saying, this week I'll start, but then another week goes by and nothing's changing. Or maybe you feel like you're running in circles, working hard, but not getting the results or recognition that you deserve. Or maybe you're a leader or a high performer and everyone thinks you've got it all together, but behind the scenes, you are barely holding it together. You keep showing up for everyone else, but then when it comes time to show up for you, you are literally exhausted, you're anxious, and maybe even resentful. Or you've got big dreams. Maybe it's that business you wanted to finally launch, the book you wanted to write, the pull-up you wanted to conquer, or that leadership position you know you are meant for, but something always seems to get in the way. And let me guess. You've been comparing yourself too. You've been watching others take off. Meanwhile, you're like, why is this feeling so hard for me? Am I broken? And I'm just not meant to get here. And let me tell you something. You are not broken. You're just overwhelmed. And when we're overwhelmed, we stop trusting ourselves. We stop taking action. We go into survival mode. For a lot of us, it's freeze. Like myself, I go into paralysis. But guess what? You don't need to overhaul your entire life in a day. You just need to keep one promise, then keep the next promise, then another. And you don't need to become her overnight. You just need to start becoming her in your own way, in your own rhythm. And you can totally do it. And maybe the version of this challenge doesn't look like mine, and that's okay. Maybe it's drinking more water. Maybe it's not drinking more water. Maybe you already got the water thing down. Maybe it's writing one paragraph of that book that you want to write. Maybe it's finally booking that therapy session that you've been wanting to go to. Maybe it's setting one boundary that you've been wanting to set for a really long time. Or maybe it's going for a 5-minute walk when everything in your body says, stay on the couch. I want you to think about one thing, just one thing, that future version of you would be doing. And I want you to ask, what would it look like if I just started now? Not next Monday, not when life slows down, not when you feel ready. Because the newsflash is, the moment doesn't magically arrive. Readiness is built. Confidence is built. Resilience is built. And it's through tiny, messy, beautiful, imperfect action. So if you're listening to this and you've been waiting for a sign, this is your sign right now. Let this be the moment you say, I'm not going to break any more promises to myself. I'm going to try, even if I'm scared, even if I don't fully believe it yet, I'm going to show up anyway. And if your voice is shaky, if your knees are weak, arms are sweaty, vomit on my sweater, everybody. Mom spaghetti, M&M. You're still allowed to begin. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You just need to start. Anyways, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so proud of you for showing up, for listening to this podcast. And if I'm going to say when you decide to join this challenge with me, I would love for you to tag me on Instagram at Angela_Gargano. Feel free to hashtag it 30 days unstuck so we can cheer each other on. We're doing it scared. We're doing it messy. So until next time, stay strong, grounded, trust yourself, and I'll see you next time on What If It All Goes Right.